Hello students. So now after that gel electrophoresis in second part, we are going to the third part of the biotechnology, principle and processes. So today we'll talk about the cloning vector. Okay, so here we are. Cloning vector. So what is cloning vector in the biotechnology? Cloning vector, it carries the foreign gene or it carries the foreign DNA. For example, you see plasmids and bacteriophages are cloning vectors. Okay, because they have the ability to replicate within the bacterial cells. So cloning vector, they should have characteristic of replicating within the bacterial cell. So we take the plasmids and bacteriophages, these are the cloning vectors. And you see both of them can produce high number of desired gene per cell. Okay, so here nowadays in the biotechnology vectors used at present are engineered in such a way that they help easy linking of the foreign DNA and selection of recombinant from non-recombinant. So nowadays already engineered vectors are used in the biotechnology. Okay, they can help a very easy linking with the foreign DNA. They can ligase with the foreign DNA, and they can select the foreign DNA which is recombinant or non-recombinant. Okay. Now the most famous cloning vector is E. coli cloning vector. Okay, the most important famous vector is what? E. coli cloning vector known as the PBR322. Okay, now let's go to the features of the cloning vector. Features of the cloning vector, number one, it should have a site where replication can take place. This site on the cloning vector is called the origin of replication or ORI. Okay, now ORI, this is a sequence or origin of replication is a sequence where the replication starts. Any piece of DNA when linked to this sequence can be made to replicate within the host cell. Okay, we take any piece of DNA and if this DNA will when linked to this sequence, okay, can be made to replicate within the host cell. Okay, second feature of the cloning vector that it should have selectable marker. Okay, vectors require a selectable marker which helps in identifying and eliminating non-transformant and selectively permitting the growth of the transformant recombinant. See that inside the selectable, when we have this foreign DNA, whether it will replicate or not. If it is replicate, it is called as the transformant. And the foreign DNA which we have joined with the vector, if it will not replicate, then this is called as a non-transformant. So here selectable marker are used. The vector requires a selectable marker which help in identifying and eliminating the non-transformant and selectively permitting the growth of the transformant recombinant. It provides resistance to host from infection also. So, for example, we can say the gene encoding resistant to antibiotics such as the ampicillin or chlorophenicol, etc., are useful selectable markers in E. coli. Okay, E. coli, that means our PBR322. In these, they have already used selectable marker like and gene encoding resistant to antibiotics like the ampicillin and the chlorophenicol. Okay, then we go to the cloning site. What is cloning site? Cloning site is a site where the foreign DNA or desired DNA can be linked with the plasmid. Okay, so here in order to link the alien DNA means foreign DNA. Okay, the vector needs to have very few, preferably single recognition sites for the commonly used restriction enzyme, because the restriction enzyme will cut this area and foreign DNA can be ligased in the plasmid. In this vector, so in the vector PBR322, aligned DNA or foreign DNA is ligased at the cloning site known as the BAM-HI. BAM-HI site of the tetracycline resistant gene. Okay. So now the question arises here. Okay, now the question arises how to know this clone gene is pure, that is, it does not have the non-transformant, or the gene is pure having transformant. Okay, to know that, we can test our PBR322 cloning vector by growing it in antibiotic medium. Before that, I'll explain you with a diagram about this. Okay, let me draw the diagram of and explain you also about the selectable marker and origin of replication. So here, okay, so now we'll go to the diagram here. Okay, viewers, now so here I told you that regarding the feature of the cloning vector. So there are cloning vector we can use as a plasmid also and bacteriophages, because they can ligase with the foreign DNA and they can be incorporated into the host cell where they can multiply, where they have the ability or power of replication inside the host cell. These kind of the organism are called as the cloning vector in the biotechnology. So here, one of the most nowadays we can use the already engineered cloning vector of E. coli known as PBR322. It has got many sites here. BAM-H1, this is our cloning site is here. BAM-H1, this is cloning site. Okay, this will be the cloning site. Okay, this has selectable marker like the gene encoding tetracycline resistant gene, ampicillin. These are the selectable markers, and then this has also ORI, origin of replication. So here there is a sequence. At this sequence only the origin of replication start. This is called ORI. Okay. So now we can E. coli plasmid vector. We can use here the transformant which can recognize transformant which can. These are called as selectable marker which can differentiate the transformant between the non-transformant. Okay, now after that, okay, so the different steps of experiment. Now we are doing the cloning site. So I told you that when we want to link the foreign DNA, okay, with the to link the foreign DNA with the vector, okay, we require a single cloning site. Okay, by the use of the restriction enzyme. As per example, I have told you in the diagram, in the vector PBR322, aligned DNA or the foreign DNA can be ligase or joined at the BAM-H1 site, of the tetracycline resistant gene. Okay, tetracycline resistant gene. Okay, now the question arises here, how to know this clone gene is pure, or that is, it does not have the non-transformant, or the gene is pure having transformant. To know that, we can test our PBR322 by growing it in antibiotic medium, and the different steps of experiment are as follows. So first of all, vector PBR322, okay, PBR322 will be PBR322 with the ligase DNA is grown in ampicillin containing medium, then recombinant will grow at the cloning site or at the BAM-H1 site. Secondly, then vector PBR322 is then quickly transferred into the tetracycline medium where the transformant will not grow. And the third one, vector PBR322, is again transferred into ampicillin and the tetracycline medium. Here the non-transformant or the non-recombinant will grow. It is then purified and inserted into vector. The above process is not in use because it requires simultaneous plating of the two different plates having different antibiotics, and it requires very quick time. So within short period of time this experiment cannot be performed. So in place of this experiment they are using the alternative methods. Okay, they are using the alternative methods. So in the alternative methods, this method depends upon the color reaction or the color coding. Okay, the different steps are given below. Okay, so in this method alternative selectable marker have been developed which differentiate the recombinant from the non-recombinant on the basis of their ability to produce the color in the presence of the chromogenic substances. Okay, and then a recombinant DNA is inserted within the coding sequence of an enzyme beta galactosidase. Okay, and hence gene coding for beta galactosidase is removed and the enzyme becomes inactive. It is called as the insertional inactivation. So now plasmid vector PBR322 with desired recombinant DNA is resolved in the plate containing chromogenic or the colored substance. If the colonies of vector produces no color or white color, then it confirms the presence of transformant or recombinant colonies, right? Transformant or recombinant colonies. So, okay. Okay, now this diagram will show you about that experiment which I told you that after ligazing with the PBR322, we can join the foreign DNA or ligase DNA with the vector PBR322 at the BAM H1 site. This is called cloning site. So now we have to know that whether the ligase gene is 100% recombinant or not. We have to know whether ligase gene is 100% recombinant or not. So to know that, we have to do a very simple experiment. We take the PBR322 with the ligase DNA, and first of all we will incorporate into ampicillin medium, and we find here that the transformant or recombinant will grow in the ampicillin medium. Then quickly we take it out and we put it into the tetracycline medium PBR322 along with the ligase DNA, and here we find that there will be no growth of recombinant. Okay, there will be no growth of the recombinant or the transformant. Again we go to the medium of ampicillin and tetracycline. We quickly place the PBR322 with the ligase DNA, and here we find that the growth of the non-recombinant. So growth of the non-recombinant means there is something wrong here, and we have to purify our ligase DNA. Then only we can incorporate our the vector into the host for replication, right? But due to this method requires simultaneous plating, it requires very quick time. So that's why this method is not in use nowadays, and we have to use the alternative methods. And what is the alternative methods? I have already told you, and the diagram of the alternative method I will give you now. Okay. Okay, now here the alternative methods which I have told you here. We take the PBR322 again, and in the PBR322 cloning vector, at the site of the BAM H1 there is a gene which code for beta galactosidase enzyme. So here we will remove the gene coding for the beta galactosidase enzyme, and in place of that we clone this area with the allele DNA will come and we ligase the aligned DNA or foreign DNA or desired DNA. So now this whole thing will be incorporated inside a chromogenic substance or colored substance. So here if the color will change into blue after incorporating our the vector along with the ligase DNA, then this will show presence of the no insert. So no insert is there, there will be no non-transformant is there. If the color changes into white, then there will be presence of the transformant. So by this method we know whether transformant is there or not in our desired DNA which we have cloned. Okay, so all this about the all this about the cloning site, right? All this about cloning site. Okay, next we go to the how we introduce the desired DNA or desired gene in the plants. Okay. Okay. Now we have seen that how to recognize the before replication of the desired gene or desired DNA. Okay, into the host cell, we have to identify whether the desired gene is really a recombinant or not. Recombinant or transformant or not, we have seen by alternative method. And now here, the vector for cloning gene in plants. So how to clone the genes in plants? So here, scientists have found that there is a bacteria known as Agrobacterium tumefaciens. These are the pathogens of the dicotyledonous plants. And the plasmid of this bacteria contain a tumor-inducing DNA, and this tumor-inducing DNA will harden the xylem and phloem tissue of the plant, and they can destroy them. So the scientists, what they have done, they have modified the tumor-inducing DNA of the plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens by they have remove the tumor-inducing DNA or the TIDNA by the restriction enzyme, and they, in place of that, they have cloned here with the desired. They have ligase the plasmid of the Agrobacterium, okay, by another desired gene, and this desired gene now this become a cloning vector and or cloning gene, and this is incorporated into the plants. Okay. Okay, now vector for cloning gene in plants and animals. Now in this case, when to make the plant disease resistant, we have to deliver gene in plants so that the plant become disease resistant. It has been found that Agrobacterium tumefaciens, a pathogen of the several dicot plants, is able to deliver a piece of DNA known as the TIDNA to transfer normal plant cell into tumor. Okay, TIDNA can cause tumor in. Okay, TIDNA will cause a tumor in the dicotyledonous plants. So the scientists, they have removed the tumor-inducing TI plasmid has been removed from the plant cell and modified into a cloning vector, which is now no more pathogen to plant. Okay, the different steps of the modifications are given as, first of all, TI plasmid or tumor-inducing plasmid is removed from Agrobacterium by the use of the lysozyme. And then again, second step, by the use of the restriction endonuclease enzyme, TIDNA has been removed. And third step, in place of TIDNA, desired gene is ligase with the TI plasmid. And this desired gene along with the plasmid is delivered into the plant. Okay. We will wind up this video here, and the next video will consist of the part 4 of the biotechnologies. So that will give you in the next class. And I once again remind you to subscribe this channel so that you can get more and more video in this biotechnology part and other section of the genetic engineering. Thank you very much for watching. Hit the bell icon for the further notification. Thank you very much.